we're now going to take an introductory look at what limits approaching infinity are. So we might write down something like this. We might say the limit as x approaches infinity of f of x. So what we're meaning by this right here is, what do the function values do as x becomes increasingly large? Graphically, what we mean is, does the function have some specific behavior as x approaches infinity? So remember, this is the x-axis right here. So here's f of x. These are the height values measured on this right here. These are the output values. So what happens as we get way out here? What does the function do? Does it approach a number? Okay, so there's some things that it can do. It could approach a specific number. Okay, what would that look like? Well, it could be the case that the function maybe does some kind of bouncing here, and then it slowly or quickly, it really doesn't matter, but it ends up being equal to some exact height value. Okay, or I shouldn't say it ends up being equal to it, but it ends up approaching some height value. Maybe this is a height of 3. Okay, so we could approach a specific number. We could just explode with our values. Our values could maybe not approach a specific number because they go off towards infinity themselves. So let me delete this. Let me show you what that would look like. So it's possible that our numbers, what I mean by the numbers is I mean the f of x values, become increasingly large, either positive or negative, it doesn't matter. So it could be the case that the function maybe does something like this. It goes like that. And so then what we would say is the limits as x approaches infinity of f of x, it goes towards infinity. Now this right here is just a symbol, so we'd actually say that the limit does not exist, because the limit, remember, has to be a real number value, and it's not in this case. It's infinity, right? And that's not an actual real number. So we could have that situation. Now this can either go up or down, and usually when we have something like this, we try to discuss exactly how it behaves according to another function. Maybe it approaches the line y equals 2x plus 3. Okay, and so you've looked at things like this in previous classes when we've discussed things like oblique, or we'll just call them slant asymptotes. And when you looked at this in another class, you usually talked about these as being horizontal asymptotes. It could also be the case that our function, maybe like the sine function, just keeps oscillating up and down like that. And so it's always stuck between -1 and +1, but it never approaches a number, and it doesn't become increasingly large or small. And so when we say what is the limit as x approaches infinity, well, we're asking what happens out here. Likewise, if we ask something like this, what is the limit as x approaches negative infinity, then we're asking what happens back over in this direction. What do the function values approach? Do they approach a specific number? Or do they just become increasingly large or small? Or do they just oscillate and not actually approach any value?